Have you ever looked back at a major event and thought, I knew it was going to happen? Maybe it was a stock market crash. Maybe it was a failed relationship. Maybe it was a political election or a business success story. Looking back, everything often seems obvious. The warning signs appear impossible to miss. The outcome feels inevitable, but that's usually an illusion. A few years ago, I came across the diary of a relative who lived through World War II. He had moved to Paris, hoping to build a better life. In one entry written shortly after the German occupation of France, he confidently predicted that the occupation would end within months. Everyone around him believed the same thing. Even military officers seemed convinced. Yet the occupation lasted for years. Looking back today, we know how history unfolded. We know the battles, we know the turning points, we know the outcome. Because we know the ending, the entire story seems predictable. But the people living through those moments had no such advantage. To them, the future was completely uncertain. This is called hindsight bias. Hindsight bias is our tendency to believe that events were predictable after they have already happened. Once we know the outcome, our brains quietly rewrite the past. Suddenly, the uncertainty disappears. The chaos becomes order. The impossible becomes obvious. Consider the financial crisis of 2008. Before the collapse, many experts were optimistic about the economy. Markets appeared strong. Growth continued. Confidence remained high. Then everything fell apart. Almost overnight, experts began listing all the reasons the crash had been inevitable. Easy credit, weak regulations, excessive risk-taking, corrupt incentives. Suddenly, the causes looked obvious. But if they were truly obvious, why didn't everyone predict the crash beforehand? The answer lies in hindsight bias. Once we know the ending, we overestimate our ability to have predicted it. The same thing happens in politics. After an election, commentators often claim the winner's victory was obvious all along. Yet before the election, predictions are usually far less certain. Polls disagree. Experts disagree. Nobody truly knows what will happen. The illusion only appears afterward. Business success stories are another perfect example. Today, companies like Google seem destined to dominate the world. Looking backward, every decision appears brilliant. Every step appears strategic. Every success seems inevitable. But at the beginning, nobody knew which company would win. Thousands of businesses were competing. Many looked just as promising. History only remembers the survivors. The most dangerous consequence of hindsight bias is overconfidence. When we believe we predicted the past correctly, we assume we can predict the future as well. We become too certain. We take bigger risks. We underestimate uncertainty. This doesn't only happen with world events, it happens in everyday life. A couple breaks up. Immediately, friends claim they always knew it wouldn't work. Some say they were too different, others say they were too similar. Some blame distance, others blame spending too much time together. Notice something interesting? No matter what happened, people always find a story afterward. The explanation changes, but the certainty remains. Unfortunately, knowing about hindsight bias doesn't protect us from it. Research shows that even people who study cognitive biases continue to fall victim to them. Our brains are simply wired this way. So what can we do? One surprisingly effective method is keeping a journal. Write down your predictions before events occur. Predict elections. Predict stock prices. Predict career opportunities. Predict personal goals. Then revisit your notes months or years later. The results may surprise you. You will likely discover that your predictions were far less accurate than you remember. Another useful exercise is reading old newspapers, not history books written afterward, actual newspapers from the time. You will see confusion, uncertainty, contradictions, competing opinions. The future was never as obvious as it appears today. In the end, hindsight offers comfort, but not necessarily wisdom. It makes the world feel more understandable than it really is. The truth is far more humbling. The world is unpredictable. The future is uncertain. And most of the time, we know far less than we think we do.